One spirit in the dark, like a candle wavers. Many spirits joined as one, burn with the fire of the blazing sun. There is strength in community, the circle empowering you and me. Circles bind and set us free in the sacred's name, so mote it be. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Kate Wolven. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. So Mercury Retrograde pre-shadow is kicking my ass this morning. I couldn't print out my notes, so I'm working from my phone. I have no makeup down here in the basement, but that's okay, because it's not about the glamoury. It's all about the throat chakra this week. I'm down in our basement apartment, which isn't the prettiest backdrop, but again, it's about the thought processes this week. It's about our communication. So don't get hung up on these little things. Like I'm not getting hung up on this. So good morning and welcome to Sunday Morning Tea and Tarot. I'm Valerie Friend. You can find me at all the various social places and on Patreon, where the action is growing and the YouTube videos will be flowing. So blessed morn and hold on to your hats, okay? Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Green Blob One. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Nithya. Good morning, Meryl. If you're called, do a little like and share so we can get the message out there this morning. Good morning, Shalini. Good morning, Mary Jane and R Weeks. Is that Rhonda? I bet it is. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Facebook user that I don't know your name. Good morning. So anyhow, as I was saying, hold on to your hats because officially we are in Gemini season with a total lunar eclipse happening on the 26th in Gemini, in Sagittarius. The sun is in Gemini. It's officially eclipse season. And the next eclipse, first one is 26th, total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. The next one, June 10th, solar eclipse in Gemini. So eclipses are portals. We've talked about this before. Good morning, Michelle Katie. We can choose to level up or ignore to our detriment, all right? That's what eclipses do for us. Pattern markers, spark plugs, a space in time where you're figuring out a specific thing. And I want you to remember, in eclipse season, we go back 6 months to the last eclipse and sort of see what we have processed over that time. See what has come up to be healed. See what has transpired that you need to take a deeper look into. Kate says, so much better. I thought I was here. Good morning. Yeah, it's a little glitchy right now, for sure. Remember, we always have free choice, so we can accept the knowledge, we can decline the knowledge, we can choose to not take any action at all. These are all our choices. So I want you to think about getting spiritual, witches. There are some things to figure out before this eclipse. And there are things that we need to leave behind outside the eclipse portal. Consider this a change agent moment. What needs to be left outside the portal and what needs to be brought forward through that entrance or exit? We do have a waxing gibbous moon in Libra right now, then Scorpio, before the eclipse in Sagittarius. So here are some things to watch out for. Martial, hi. You know, I was just thinking about you this morning and thinking I hadn't seen you on Tea and Tarot lately. Good morning, Tina Lindley. Good morning, John. So things to watch out for this week. People pleasing. All right. Are you saying things just to avoid upsetting someone? Are you trying to earn your way to heaven with those around you? Rocking the boat just to see what'll happen. Scorpio moons are kind of famous for this. They like give everything a little shake because they want to know the truth, and then they observe and see what happens. Pay attention to the times you are asked to negotiate between two parties and how you go about doing that, or do you avoid that altogether? Any self-harming, self-doubt, self-esteem issues that have been building up and possibly proceeding out one's throat chakra, I want you to pay attention to those as well. In Moon Meditation Sacred Circle, we did a ritual to heal and release insecurities. So if you're a Moonie and you haven't caught that video yet, it's up on our group. You might want to go back and give it a rewatch. So, and as I said, we are also in the pre-shadow period of Mercury Retrograde. So May 29th to June 22nd is the actual Mercury retrograde, but 3 weeks before, 3 weeks after, even 6 weeks sometimes, it's something to pay attention to. Our communication muscles are being worked over, and I want you to push yourself a little, but you know, don't throw your throat chakra out of whack by being too abrupt with yourself. Good morning, Liza. Good morning. Who else did I see here? Oh, Martial says things have been going kind of insane lately. I hear you. I feel you. So, Eliza, I'm going to do a shout out for us. Liza and I have a Mercury Retrograde survival kit over in our Etsy shop, Scorpio Moon Rising. It's $3 and it's money well spent, okay? Just a little help. We get by with a little help from our friend Liza, who really gave us a tool we can work with. Now, the last thing I want to say before we go into prayer is that the swirl today is full of swords. Not the path, not the illumination, the swirl, the first 3 cards. This is the element of air. This is the direction of the east. And as we go into prayer this morning, I want us to take a moment to shake off some of the distractions that keep us from really tuning into our magical spaces. I want you to see the debris being loosened. And let's turn our attention to that throat chakra, brilliant blue and ready to sing. I want you to move your neck around and intend flexibility to find its way into your communications as we open the channel of divine love and light to bring forth this message for Sunday morning tea and tarot. We ask that our guides, angels, light beings, and ancestors show up, surround us with love and protection, and bring forth messages that are clear, concise, and actionable, delivered for our highest good, for the highest good of all. And we ask this in perfect love and perfect trust. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Awesome. So let's jump right into these swords. Oh, Liza says we're Scorpio Moon Rising on Etsy. I'm sure you've got $3 to spend on this tool. It's so awesome. So, the swirl, our journey with some swords. We begin with the Ace of Swords upright. Ryan and Matthews call this the breath of life. So hint, 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 yogic breathing this week, my friends, especially if you feel like you're going to say something you don't want to say, or you're not going to say something you know needs to be said. Do a little breathing. Do the box. Do the breathing. We are invited to call in renewal, but this one requires that we let go of some of that debris and allow it to be carried off by the winds of change. Swords rule the mind, mental activity, and mental anguish, and all the places in between. Big ideas and plaguing thoughts of insecurity. Clarity of purpose, clear thinking, they're waiting for us on the other side of our ego this week, okay? Now, we get into the tough part. 8 of Arrows, which Ryan and Matthews name struggle, followed by the 10 of Arrows, which Ryan and Matthews label instruction. These two together ask us to look at the past 6 months of struggle to uncover what you have learned. What have you learned from the struggle? Now, the 8 of Arrows, I pulled them out of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the prison of our own making. This is how I often describe it to you. And this deck gives it this little intellectual twist by asking, are you making things harder than they need to be? Now, the answer may be no. Things really are exactly this hard right now, okay? But for many of us who do the review, we can find at least a couple of thought patterns that make things way more difficult than they need to be, probably located between our own 2 ears, okay? The 10 of Swords is basically the betrayal card, all right? Those lessons are important, but self-betrayal is often the solitary confinement of our 8 of Arrows energy, okay? What have you learned? What have the struggles taught you? Who or what can help you strengthen your resiliency skills? You know, Spirit is handing us a lesson this week, something that will free us and help us process old wounds. And we would be wise to accept this assistance right now. I'm not being a fear monger, or you may feel fear, but that's not what I intend for you. This eclipse season with a Mercury retrograde in the mix is going to be intense. Now, intense doesn't have to be bad. Think about that intense moment right before you have an amazing orgasm, okay? Not bad. Not bad. But use it well. Use it well. So think about it as that moment of potentiality where you're feeling the intensity and nearing the release of some of those things. And do the work. Struggle and learn. Learn from your struggle. All those kind of things. Now, the path. Okay? The swirl is really being challenged by the path this week big time. Under the Ace of Swords, we have the Archer reversed. In traditional tarot, this would be the Chariot, but it's the Archer in the Wildwood deck by Mark Ryan and John Matthews, Will Worthington, the illustrator. I didn't bring the box over. Sorry about that. We have sort of intellectually been dragged through the mud by our own thought patterns, the dysfunctional patterns of others, and the stories that we make up to fill in the gaps. As we release and accept this opportunity for a breath of fresh air, we're going to fuck things up once in a while, or maybe a lot. But I want you to remember that failure is the embryo of success. If you're not willing to lean into the change and try something new, well, let's just say you're going to keep getting what you've got, and you might get dragged around a little bit. Expect to be challenged by disinformation, especially post-eclipse when Mercury is in its real retrograde. Expect to communication wheels come off, sort of the wheels come off the wagon of your throat chakra. And that could be implosion, that could be explosion. You have to determine where you are likely to go. If you're more into the Scorpio moon part of the lead up, you might say some things that are hurtful and malicious. If you're part of the Libra moon swirl leading up, you might try to make everybody happy except for yourself. And either way, the wheels come off the wagon. Expect to be pissed off or hurt by what other people say, but then use it to reflect on the patterns in you that have become activated. Like, that really hurt my feelings. What unhealed part of me got poked right there? And how can I minister to that part of me? Because the next card in the path is the Ace of Vessels in reverse, and it's right underneath that struggle, okay? Don't abandon yourself emotionally. Minister to those struggles. Self-soothing in a meaningful way. Do you need to cry? Go ahead. Do you need to scream? Go ahead. Do you need to go in the closet, close the door, sit in the dark for a while? Go ahead. As long as you're using that time to minister to the part of you that's sick of working harder than you need to, this is a good time to pour some water on it. Now, this card is showing up reversed, and this can mean that your cup is empty. So what do you need to do to fill your own cup right now? If you're tempted to say, nobody loves or understands the emotions of my struggle, I want you to check yourself, because that means you are part of the nobody. Do you understand the emotions of your struggle? Do you love the person who has struggled and learned? That's a big question this week. It's your soul space. These struggles and your lessons, this is part of your soul's contract, I mean, it's just the work we need to do this week. So fill your cup, get it upright, and use it to minister to your struggles. Last card in the path is the World Tree, the end and the beginning, and it's underneath the 10 of Arrows instruction. So learning the lessons helps us to complete the cycle and bring the energy into the next 4 seasons, or at least the next 2 seasons until we meet up with eclipse season again. We would be wise to accept some assistance right now. You know, it really is time to level up. It's really time to walk the labyrinth again. It is really time to present yourself anew at the door of the world tree and knock, knock, knock. So, I wanted to say, or I wanted to ask, these are questions. What do you think when you are activated by things outside of yourself? Walk that into the labyrinth. What are the persuasive messages of your own self-talk? Walk that through the labyrinth. What are the most common stories that you make up to fill in the communication blanks? Walk that through the labyrinth, okay? We're going to go on to the illumination, how we bring it together. And let me tell you, friends, mama ain't happy. Fire season is coming. Hurricane season is coming. What is the status of your communication with the Divine Mother? When was the last time you made offerings and had a long talk with the one who fertilizes all things? I want you to consider that perhaps some of your communication patterns link back to your own mother or mother person or other female identified humans. What did you learn as a child about struggle and betrayal? And how is that communicated or not communicated in your family of origin, where you were when you were a small child, an adolescent, a young adult? And I want you to please make this about instruction, not mother bashing. We are looking for our roots, not taking our parents' inventory, all right? Save that for therapy. There are good lessons as well as challenging lessons, so make sure to look for both. I mean, she's in reverse, she's unhappy, so there might be more things that you need to challenge and consider. But let's not make it about pointing the finger at our caregivers and saying we no longer have any responsibility to change this because, you know, we were fucked up from the time we were kids. In fact, I want you to try not to label things good or bad. You're just looking for that ace of arrows, that breath of life, so you can move forward. Here's the Ace of Swords in the traditional deck. The clarity is being handed to you by the sacred. It's crowned, it's glorious. New ideas are coming into your periphery. The green woman, I'm going to turn her up right here. She sits at solstice, and summer solstice is less than a month away right now. So do the review to bring her into her upright glory. It's more than possible if you put in the time, if you address that which needs to be addressed. And that's what I've got for you today. Blessed be. Hey, babe. Hey. So Amy has a terribly sore neck. And so any of you are called to send a little Reiki, do it, please. We do have a bot. If somebody could just like get rid of Maria Lynch. Let's just, like, this kind of stuff. DM me for your accurate reading. This is not the space for that, Maria. So Amy or I will block her after. Or you can block. You can delete. All right, let me show you the decks I've got here this morning. So as an oracle deck, I have the Wild Offering Oracle by Tosha Silver. It's the Little Ganesha deck, and we love it. I have Carolyn Meese's Wisdom for Healing cards. Super potent. I charged them up, and we will see what the Wisdom for Healing cards have to say. You can request a deck. And then as my tarot today, as in last week, I'm using the Guardian of the Night tarot. Now, eclipses, lunar eclipse, that's night. That's night. So we're going to go with the Guardian of the Night by MJ Cullinane. She's the author of the Crow Tarot, and I love her decks. So that's what we've got. You can put a question. Oh, Liza says she wants a Ganesh card. Wild Offering Oracle by Tosha Silver. I want to say the artist. The art is by Katie Daisy. All right. So Liza, hands on your heart, hands in prayer, whatever you're called. And remember, if this resonates with you, Liza just asked for it. It could be for you too. And whoop, there we go. Make it God's. Goddess, the sacred, divine consciousness, whatever you call it. I'm going to read it. Release the idea of my. As soon as you start to say the money, the relationship, the job, freedom arrives. When there is no grasping, the right actions get shown. Free me from the prison of my. Oh my God, here you go, the prison. Free me from the prison of my, dear Lord. So this is really about non-grasping energy, opening your hands wide up. Instead of saying things in an ownership, in a colonizer way, we want to say, this house, this partner, this relationship, this opportunity, this struggle, not my struggle, this struggle, the lessons, depersonalize it a little bit because it's about us, but it's about all of us. And mostly, it's about getting out of the way and letting the divine take the lead in your life. And that's what I've got for you, my sweet darling. I cannot wait to see you in Gloucester. I'm getting excited already. Honey, do you have anybody?
Sure. How about a card for Tina Lindley?
Tina Lindley?
Yep. She says she loves the Carolyn Meese deck. That her mom reads her stuff all the time.
That is awesome. I put it up on the screen.
And she said she would love a Meese or a moon card.
Oh, a Meese or a moon card?
Yep.
Well, we're going to go with the Wisdom for Healing deck by Carolyn Meese. I love this deck. I used to have this in my teaching space. And this is what I've got for you, Tina. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Here's today's lesson. Identify one area of your own life where you're angry at yourself or where you have yet to forgive something that you have done. Healing requires forgiving oneself as well as others. Your goal, to love yourself enough to heal. Now, if that's not an exclamation point to what we've got going on in the in the group reading, I don't know what is, because, we are really being presented with an opportunity to heal and to love ourselves through it. So get that Ace of Vessels upright, fill your cup, forgive yourself for anything. Like if you went rogue for a couple of weeks, or you've been saying some shit to yourself that you don't dig and you don't want to have in your energy field, I want you to really work on that forgiveness. And the Ho'oponopono thing can be really helpful in this. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. You can say that to yourself as well as the divine. So that's what I've got for you, Tina. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Martille says, can she have a card for her birthday? That's why I was thinking about you this morning, because, you're my favorite Gemini, or one of them anyway. My granddaughter's Gemini son. Where? Now I can't find Martille's little thing. There it is. Birthday is Thursday this week. That's the day after the eclipse, isn't it, Martille? Hold on, I got to check the calendar. Hold on, check the calendar. Yes, the day after the eclipse. So select some shit to leave outside the door of the eclipse and walk into this solar return with new ideas. Brilliant ideas. So I'm going to pull from the Guardian of the Night Tarot for you, my darling, for your birthday. I don't know how many trips you've made around the sun, but this is what I've got for you. Judgment. Stepping up into your calling, shedding that old skin, leaving it outside the eclipse portal, and rising Shakti, or universal femme energy, that coiling energy that extends up your spine, drawing you up to spirit. This is about really getting serious about who you are becoming and what parts need to be left outside. That old snakeskin, it's not going to do you any good unless maybe you crumble it up and put it in a jar and bury it in front of the eclipse portal, not behind the line. So number one, I want you to praise yourself as you're rising into this new energy. Give yourself lots of pats on the back for having come through the struggles and the lessons. And then, really start to allow your true and authentic self to take flight. Okay? Happy birthday. I think that's pretty awesome. All right, who's next, babe?
How about Sam Thomas?
Sam Thomas.
He says, may I have a card? I'm working hard to get out of the just survive mode and into the thrive mode and find my happy.
Okay, so Sam Thomas is trying to get out of survive into thrive and become happy, and she wants a card. Number one, Sam, do not shortchange yourself on the review of the struggle and the lessons. I think that that's the first thing. And don't give yourself shit for maybe pointing your arrow in the wrong direction. Listen to that last card on forgiveness and really give yourself some permission to forgive yourself and move on. I'm going to pull from the Guardian of the Night Tarot for you, Sam. So we're all going to open our hearts, and I'm sorry you have two cards instead of one. A little bit more work for you. Sorry, honey, but you're up for it. You're up for it. So the first thing is the Three of Cups. Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with thrivey people or survivey people? Because if you're hanging out with a bunch of survivey people it's going to be hard for you to get into the thrive vibe. Now, the next thing is the Hierophant. The Hierophant can be a little old school tradition, status quo. But what I'm hearing here is a teacher, somebody who can teach you some new skills, some new practices, some new behaviors that you can then routinize into your daily routine to help you with the thrive vibe. All right. And it's going to have to be something different than your old group of friends, connections, acquaintances, all the non-thrivey people that you have been hanging out with. You got to find a new group that's got their cups upright, and then learn, pay attention, listen and learn to those new voices. People who aren't thrivey can't help you thrive. And oftentimes we can't thrive in an environment of non-thrivey people. So you're going to have to leave some things outside the portal. And you're going to need to be ready to learn some new things and make them habitual and routinized and put them at the top of your list, okay? That's what I've got for you, Sam. All right.
Go over to YouTube.
Let's go over to YouTube.
And Sally asks, could she have the GOTN card? I have finally got my work life right. What should I focus on next?
Absolutely. Here's Sally's question along the bottom. And I'm loving that you're loving the Guardians of the Night Tarot. We're going to pull this one for Sally. So, let's hold her. She's made some big decisions. She's moving forward. And this time, Sally, we've got the Judgment card reversed. So the first thing that I want to say to you is you've got to review those struggles and lessons, okay? You actually need to take a hold of the snake skin, hold it up to your heart and say, teach me what I need to know about this shedding. What have I just said goodbye to that I might be tempted to pick up and try to put back on my inner goddess? What do I do that constrains me? And how can I release that? This is about your self-judgment as much as it's about anything, Sally. Like, you say some mean shit to yourself. And remember, we're focusing on this throat chakra, the communications, Gemini, Mercury, all communication stuff. You have to get your self-talk in line before you're going to see what you should focus on next. Because right now, I think you are spending a little too much time with the old stories, the old tales, the old business. I want you to really sort of turn your cup around, get full. So prayer, meditation, breath work, sacred bathing, prayer, meditation, and breath work. and then I think you will see this energy start to turn around, because what you should focus on next is up here, not down here. The past is gone. The past is gone. It doesn't fit you anymore. It's too tight. It constrains you. What should you focus on? Getting free of that energy, releasing yourself from that prison of your own making. Okay, my darling? I love you to pieces. I love you to pieces. And this might be a good time to let you guys know that during Mercury Retrograde, I'm going to be doing Celtic Cross spreads to release, to deal with what we need to release, mostly in the area of communication and messages and that kind of stuff, for $55. $55. Do you have that saved up in your little fund? Because this might be a good time. I can do these readings on Zoom. I can do them in email. We could even, if you're close enough, do them in person because I am vaccinated. All right. Who do you have next, my lovey love?
Well, we got a newbie, and if you could explain how we pick cards. Let me read the question. It's from Space Star, and this person says, "Hey, I'm new. I'm subscribed. Do you do any free readings?"
Hey, Space Star, welcome. Love it that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The free readings that I do are card pulls after Sunday morning tea and tarot. I think that there is some willingness on my part to pull a card or two from time to time for people who might not have enough dollars saved up in their little reading account. So stay with me, start watching some of the content because that's going to answer some of your questions already. And, you can always ping me on Facebook Messenger. I don't really participate in Facebook too much these days, other than, live streaming Sunday morning tea and tarot simultaneously with YouTube. But, you never know when I'm going to do a giveaway. I'll tell you one thing. When I go to Gloucester in July, I tend to get very generous with free readings because I love to read in that space. So just some little tips and tricks. And how about I pull a card for you today? So this is for Space Star, and I'm going to pull from Carolyn Meese's Wisdom for Healing deck. So this is one I had to work for a long time, and this might be part of your struggle and lesson, Space Star. Let go of resentment. Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person dies. Okay? I always say that. So let's hear what Carolyn Meese has to say in the daily lesson. Acknowledge one resentful feeling that you need to release, and keep in mind that all types of resentment are poison and harm the healing process. I love Carolyn. Your goal to become mindful of your reasons for staying angry and to begin letting go of negative feelings by the end of the day. You know that old saying people have that they're like, never go to bed angry? Well, not that I'm talking about spiritual bypassing or disowning your anger. Not at all. I want you to do something with that. We can talk about that in a subsequent video, how to release anger. But at the end of the day, when you put your head down on the pillow, just for the night, just for your sleep space, in protection of that sacred disconnection from earth life and emergence into sleep life, I want you to put the resentments and anger down. Maybe you could say some affirmations like, I invite love into my dreams. I am putting this resentment in this box. I'm tying it. I'm putting duct tape around it. I'm going to put it on the top shelf of the closet, close the door. And while I sleep, that is staying in there. Do it for a few nights and see if it gives you a little bit of relief, okay? Who else, my lovey?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. Okay, I'm going to take a little scroll up the feed. Who did you say?
Kate.
Kate Wolven?
Yep.
I'm trying to find her post.
Oh, she didn't post the question.
Oh, you just picked her. So Kate Wolven, we're coming for you. She says here, so much better. I thought I was here. Good morning. Well, you're here now, honey. And I am going to pull from Tosha Silver's The Wild Offering deck for you. I'm feeling a strong vibe of something's got to give. I don't know what's been going on in your lived remembering, but this is the hardship card, okay? Let me read it to you. May I embrace what's happening right now, as baffling or as painful as it is. Help me, God, to trust where you are guiding me. I am yours. So any sort of baffling or painful things that are going on in your area right now. And I am getting a sense that it might not be you. It might be someone you're close to that's having a hard time right now. Let me know if that's true. But this is really a time to look at the struggle and the lessons for you. And to remember that we are completing a cycle. So I want you to know that the end is in sight. I do want you to sort of look at the ways that you are being drained of your energy by circumstances of fuckery, okay? So I want you to look at that just to pay attention to it, not to go into it and sink down into it and do the things you do when you're feeling like your whole energy field is being drained constantly. Maybe you need to do some boundary work. Maybe you need to do some banishing after the new moon and the eclipse, because we use that disseminating moon energy to banish. So you can banish hardship for yourself, and you can also lend support to the banishment of someone else's hardship. But the key here is that a lot of this is God's business. Remember what Byron Katie says. There's 3 kinds of business: your business, my business, and God's business. Whose business are you in right now that's causing you hardship, Kate? That's what I have to say. Sorry, I'm feeling a little sweary and sassy today. Let's look up. So, Selene Sony says, please tell me about my future. All right, why not? So, Selene, I'm using the Guardians of the Night Tarot. I'm going to do a little, there we go. And let me tell you about your future. Again, you have the Judgment card reversed. So again, more focus on the past than what you need to be doing. Let me show you the other card that fell out with it. This is the Strength card. Do you see the 2 snakes? Do you see them? So the Strength card is about learning what you're really made of. And in the near future, particularly eclipse season, Mercury retrograde, and fire season, which is coming this summer, you're really going to learn about your own inner strength and how you go about pulling the energy of your inner being upright, proud, shoulders thrown back, and you sort of make friends with your inner beast. I like that for you. So let's all take a little piece of that. Thanks for asking for a card, Shalini. Do you have anyone else, my darling? Or are we going to end a little early today?
Heavens forbid, no.
Amy says, heavens forbid, no.
Sorry,
hey, Liza, if you can, do you want to put Scorpio Moon Rising link in the comments so people can get to the download really super quick? I'm also working on a digital download for working with Bridget. So, yeah, that's going to be coming.
So there's a post from Paula Thomas.
Paula Thomas.
She says her name is Minaya Lane. Will I find my iPhone 11 that I lost on Friday?
Will you find your iPhone 11 that you lost on Friday? That's a yes or no question. So I'm pulling Hermit Reverse. Reversals are a no for me. So I think you're going to have to do some special asking and divination. I think you're also looking all over the place instead of just sitting down and getting still and seeing what comes to you. You know, the spider catches the fly. The spider doesn't go out there and hunt the fly all over the forest, okay? So sit down, get quiet. Ask your guides, your angels, your light beings, your ancestors. You could also try to contact my mother, Jean Sovacool, sometimes called Nana, because she's really good at finding lost objects. That's what I've got for you, babe. Sorry you lost your phone. That sucks ass. But, you know, this is this Mercury retrograde. Communication tools might go missing. All right. Maybe it's trying to tell you you need a little break from the iPhone 11. Maybe you need to break up with the phone for a few days, get quiet in your hermit space, and like really pay attention to your own stuff. Just a suggestion. All right. Oh my God, I sound like Matthew McConaughey. Da 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 da. Tina Lindley loves the card with all the raccoons. I do too. So while I'm looking down this scroll, my friends, let me just take a few of your minutes to say, fucking go get vaccinated, okay? You know, like, if you're not doing it for yourself, do it for other people. Do it because you're willing to give a little of yourself in service for the good of all and the harm of none. Okay? I'm serious. Like, and if you're having a hard time and you live in my area, call me. I'll help you. I'll help you hook up with a vaccination site so that you can get vaccinated and be part of the solution. There's a lot of scary shit going on out there. There's a lot of disinformation is part of our struggle and the lessons that we learn. You know, so I know it's controversial and I don't care. I'm a little public health bitch from the AIDS epidemic. Go get your vaccination. All right? I told you I was feeling sassy today. Good morning. Okay. Who else? Meryl Reed says it's been a while. I'll take a card. Yes, you will, Meryl. I'm really feeling this Guardians of the Night. So we're gonna see what's here for you. And Meryl, I have the Nine of Swords. Now, you may know that the Nine of Swords is the anxiety card. It's really about blowing things out of perspective, letting your fears run away from you, thinking you have to protect everybody except yourself, not reaching for comfort. So, Meryl, I want you to really pay attention, number one, to your dream space. This is often referred to as the nightmare card. I want you to pay attention to that little inner being that needs protection and comfort right now. And instead of making things worse, remember we said that back here, are you making things harder than they need to be? Answer is probably yes. So simplify, cradle yourself in comfort, ask for help, connect with other people who share your anxieties with the goal of healing, not the goal of getting on the phone and talking about all the things you're scared of so that you then can activate yourself and everyone else. You gotta do the healing. You don't have to do it perfectly, and you probably won't, but you gotta keep trying. You want the wheels back on the wagon. You want to feel in control again. And the fears, the anxieties, the nightmares really get in the way. So protect your dream time. You can put a broom under your bed with the head of the broom faced up to where your head goes on the bed, and ask for that to create a barrier between you and any nightmares. You can do all the yogic breath work that helps with anxiety. Remember, we do the box breathing. Remember, we do the deep belly breaths where we stick our belly out as far as we can on the inhale and then suck it in as tight as we can on the exhale. Those kind of things would be really super awesome this week. Donna Di Giacomo. I never say your name right. I'm totally sorry about it. I'm sure she would pronounce it in Italian for us like it's supposed to be. But, I'm just like this upstate New York working class girl. And we say Di Giacomo. Correct me. I need a voice message that has the correct pronunciation.
She says it's okay.
Probably no one's ever mispronounced your name before, ever, right, Donna? Okay, what do I have for you? So 2 cards again popping out. Oh, look, Di Giacomo. Oh, wow, I just totally killed that. All right. So first, 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups is that nostalgia card. I love the way it's got the 2 elephants playing here. It's very childlike energy. It's returning to your inner child. It is, thinking back on the good memories. But oftentimes we can sort of not do our work because we've sort of made up a different story about the childhood memories. And this is where the second card comes in, that 4 of Pentacles, that protection energy. So instead of, especially for those of us whose parental figures have passed on, we tend to clean up the story a whole lot because we don't want to speak ill of the dead. And that's okay. You don't need to. But the struggles and the lessons are real. And creating a place of security for yourself is super important. Physical security, making sure that your home is a place of safety and downtime and perspective, but also, saving up some cash so that maybe you can address some of these old narratives, maybe in therapy, maybe through a reading, maybe just through your own personal breath work, your yoga practice, your meditation practice. But you want to sort of create a safe container for yourself where you can really examine your childhood without the nostalgia filter. Remember, there's great things about our childhoods and there's crap things about our childhood. So we're being asked to look for both this week. And that's what I've got for you, Donna. All right, I know this deck is amazing. Let me just quick show you some of the pictures here. 8 of Pentacles, look at that. Look at that beautiful card. Remember, the 8 of Pentacles is the skill and devotion card. And look at that pollinator, worker bee. What else? Temperance. Look at that. The frog, the amphibian that turns from a water breather to an air breather. Equally comfortable on land and water. Perfect, right? There's no faces in this deck of humans, so I think it's really good for magic. Here's the 10 of Cups. Look at that. All the animal family joined together to leave a legacy of fulfillment. And one more. Let's do one more. Ooh, 5 of Cups. Look at those 3 broken cups. And those 2 full cups with fireflies in them, with that moth ascending to tell us that disappointment doesn't have to derail us. It's a really beautiful deck. I really should do a deck tour with this deck, maybe this week on YouTube, because like I only have a half day of subbing this week. I need to stir some stuff up for myself. Okay, so that's what I've got for you this week. Again, pay attention to that throat chakra. Send her some healing. If you have a necklace with a blue stone, super good. Blue lace agate is wonderful for your throat chakra. Any sort of blue scarf, especially look at this blue star here around that color family, would be really good. So get your witch on this week, my friends. Remember, we have some opportunities to change with the winds of change. We're going to have to look at our past struggles and the lessons that we have learned. We want to know that not everything's going to hit the mark, but we're going to keep trying. And if our cups are empty, we're going to refill them and refresh them and then use them to minister to those places where we feel tight and those places where we feel betrayed. Because a new cycle is beginning. And we're going to walk the labyrinth with this because Mama's not happy. And she really wants you to look at the way that your life force is being drained so that we can pull her into her upright glory for summer solstice. I'll see you next Sunday. I love you. Bye-bye.